Hey guys, it's Rex here. So in this video, I'll cover the events in NieR Replicant and NieR Automata, and how the two games are connected. This is a follow-up to a previous video I made about the Drakengard series, and how they lead up to NieR, so if you haven't seen that, you may want to check it out. Also, I've seen people ask whether it's pronounced automata or automata, and the answer I have is, I don't know. I say automata like automaton, but I don't even really know if that's right, and people know what you mean either way, so who really cares? Anyway, on with the video. So how are Replicant and Automata connected, other than the inclusion of scantily clad, white-haired, sword-wielding waifus? In Replicant, we open around the point where we left off in my other video. First, let's break down our key players. Replicant follows the story of an unnamed protagonist, his sister Yona, a grimoire containing a Gestaltized soul named Vice, a woman named Kaine, and a boy named Emil. So how does this connect to our story in Automata, 8,000 years later, that follows a group of androids designated 2B, 9S, and A2, as well as a machine named Pascal? Our unnamed protagonist, who we'll call NieR for the sake of this video, is looking after his sister, who is afflicted by a mysterious and uncurable disease known as the Black Scrawl. Through the events of the story, we find out that Yona and NieR are both replicants, and the Black Scrawl is caused by replicants gaining full self-awareness and rejecting their gestalt in what is called a relapse. Additionally, the shades that NieR fights are relapse gestalts that have lost their sentience and become hostile. As I mentioned before, the existence of gestalts and replicants was in response to a plague brought about by the destruction of the Queen Beast. The destruction of the Queen Beast spread particles known as maso around the world, and this plague was known to humanity as white chlorination syndrome, referring to the fact that it turns you into a salt-like substance, aka sodium chloride. Of course, we know this isn't actually a plague, but rather the work of a god who offers a choice of either death or servitude, death turning you into salt, and servitude turning you into one of the mindless legion. At this point, the leader of the legion has been slain in a fearsome battle at Jerusalem. Without leadership, the legion is much less of a threat than before. As a side note, it's a popular fan theory that Kaim, the protagonist of Drakengard 1, who died in Tokyo, is the one who became the leader of the legion. There isn't a ton of evidence for this, but he was the closest person to the Queen Beast when it was destroyed, possibly making him the first to be affected and appear before the god and be given the choice. Still, it wouldn't surprise me if someday we do get confirmation on this, even if it wasn't the original idea. They might like it and make it that way because it's kinda neat. As is traditional, NieR Replicant has multiple endings. During the fourth ending, Ending D, NieR sacrifices himself to save Kaine, erasing himself from existence, and everyone's memories as a result. As revealed over the course of the story, NieR was known as the original Shadow Lord, meaning he was the one to provide genetic material to keep the Gestalts stabilized. His destruction means the destruction for all Gestalts as well. This leads us into the new fifth ending, which has been added to the new Replicant remake. This ending, Ending E, is a continuation of Ending D, and was originally detailed in the Lost World novel prior to the remake. After NieR's sacrifice, Kaine travels to the Forest of Myth after having nightmares and a constant feeling that something is missing in her life that she just can't recall. In the forest, she finds that there's a facility making copies of replicants. The facility here was originally where the people of our time were studying maso, particles of the Queen Beast. Shortly after arriving, the facility enters its shutdown phase, and Kaine forces her way in with the help of Emil, and she arrives at the core, where she reunites with NieR, reconstructed as the age he was when he first visited the forest, and Emil gains a reconstructed body as well. Several hundred years after these events, the last of the Gestalts is destroyed, and thus, the last of humanity. In the year 5012, an alien invasion takes place, and a series of wars follow. The aliens use an army of machines to take over and quickly overrun both North and South America. Since humanity has been wiped out at this point, the resistance is taken up by androids, who in 5013 create the ironically named Army of Humanity. Now, I said that all of mankind has been wiped out, but that isn't entirely true. We also find that Emil, the companion of NieR, Vice, and Kaine, has endured until the end of the world as well, or at least an Emil has. To fight the alien invasion, Emil created copies of himself, over 85 million of them. Ultimately, neither Emil nor the androids are successful, and the war turns into a long and drawn-out conflict. By the time Automata takes place, the 14th Machine War is underway, and over 6,000 years have passed. During this time, Project YoRHa was created, in which androids were mass-produced, secretly using machine cores as the basis. These androids were given number and letter designations, as most androids, including the ones who created them, did not see them as real androids, and intended to dispose of the YoRHa androids after the machines were defeated. The units of YoRHa propagate the lie that humanity is still alive and living on the surface of the moon, is a way to give androids a god to fight for, and maintain morale. To keep the lie a secret, the E-type or executioner androids kill anyone who finds out the truth, and a final safeguard is created to wipe out an entire generation of androids, which is known as the logic virus. The disease that spread from the Queen Beast is also known in the NieR and Drakengard series as the Red Eye disease, owing to the red tinge the affected legion take on. The logic virus in Automata also causes this effect, which at first glance may just seem like coincidence. This virus turns the affected androids and machines into mindless killers, just like the Legion. This virus cannot be purged by normal means, meaning the only escape from the virus is death. Once again, two choices, death or servitude. But why would this curse of the Watchers bother targeting robots? Well, as we know, there isn't a single human left alive anymore in the entire universe. Now, there's a lot in Automata dealing with the nature of humanity, sentience, and what it even means to be human in the first place, which is beyond the scope of this video. But suffice to say that androids and machines are essentially the successors of humanity, being so infinitely close to being human in every way that matters, perhaps even more human than we are sometimes. The will of the Watchers endures through the millennia, as the curse they unleashed on humanity 10,000 years ago rages on, determined to wipe out or subjugate every last trace of humankind. This logic virus is first seen at work when 2B and NieR initially journeyed to the surface to investigate rumors that machines are becoming less hostile. After meeting up with the android resistance on the surface, the two meet a pacifist machine group, led by a machine named Pascal, who has become sentient and is teaching other machines using their memories and emotional data. 2B and NieR also encounter Adam and Eve, physical manifestations of the machine network. After a large hole is opened up, the two encounter Adam and Eve once more, who reveal that the machine's alien creators are long dead after the machines decided they had no use for them, and rebelled. Adam is later killed by 2B after he captures NieR. During his recovery from Adam's attack, NieR discovers a glitch in YoRHa's servers when syncing himself and 2B, and learns the secret that humanity is gone. And the YoRHa commander decides to let him stay alive, despite learning the information. With Adam dead, Eve goes mad with grief, and drives the machines under his command into a frenzy. Additionally, in the tattoos on Eve's body, we can see the symbol of the Watchers, which may just be a reference, but the parallels are still there. NieR becomes infected with Eve's logic virus, forcing 2B to kill him. However, NieR's consciousness survives within the local machine network. Afterward, YoRHa launches a full-scale invasion. During this invasion, a logic virus attack corrupts every YoRHa unit, including those in the bunker, except for 2B and NieR. 2B and NieR are separated in the aftermath, and then 2B is then infected with the logic virus as well. After fleeing to a remote area and being rescued by the rogue YoRHa unit A2, 2B uploads her memories into her sword and asks A2 to look after NieR and to kill her. Again, death or servitude. NieR sees A2 kill 2B and becomes enraged, swearing to kill her. A mysterious tower created by the machines rises up from the land, separating the two before they can fight. A few weeks later, A2 reboots, and after spending some time among the machines, she witnesses Pascal's village being destroyed, as the machines there turn feral. Her and Pascal save many of the machines, but this is in vain, as Pascal's children commit suicide out of fear of being attacked, an unfortunate result of Pascal teaching them emotions. Meanwhile, NieR investigates the tower, while becoming increasingly unhinged, as 2B's death, the fate of humanity, and the realization that YoRHa units have machine cores and are no different from the machines they're fighting pile up on him. He learns the tower is designed to launch a missile at the moon server, and eventually enters the tower with the help of some familiar faces from Replicant. 2 Devola and Popola units had been staying at the Resistance camp, different ones from those in Replicant, as they were mass-produced to watch over Project Gestalt. These two had taken on the blame for the failure of the Devola and Popola units, who had failed to complete their mission and watch over the project. For thousands of years, these two had wandered the earth, racked with guilt, and now chose to sacrifice themselves in the hopes of doing something good. During his ascent, NieR is confronted by the Red Girls, a program of the Machine Network. This program was behind the death of the aliens and the rebellion by the machines, as well as the current form of Project YoRHa. After killing their creators, the girls realized that they were still forced to follow the orders of their dead masters, and thus their only purpose was the defeat of the androids, after which they would disappear. To maintain their existence, they prolonged the war, and may have continued to do so indefinitely. At the top of the tower, A2 and NieR confront each other. NieR, now insane and infected with the logic virus, challenges A2 to a fight. Here, as usual, there are multiple endings. In Ending C, A2 saves NieR by hacking into him, and sacrifices herself to destroy the tower. In Ending D, the two androids kill each other, and as he dies, NieR is offered by the Machine Network the chance to join them, as the tower has changed its function to fire an arc containing the machine memories to find a new world. Once both of these endings are unlocked, Ending E takes place, in which the androids' pods 042 and 153, defy their orders to delete YoRHa's data, and desire to save the androids after appearing to have gained a level of sentience. The pods restore A2, 2B, and NieR, and despite the possibility that the androids would repeat everything again, the pods hold faith that they will forge a new future for themselves, thus giving us probably the happiest ending so far in any NieR title. There is still a lot we don't know for certain, such as the Red Girl's possible connection to the Watchers, and how Maso could have been involved somehow. But for now, this has been the connections between NieR Replicant and NieR Automata. Hey, if you made it to the end, thanks for sticking around. Be sure to watch my other NieR lore video, and maybe subscribe, because But anyway, have a fantastic day, y'all.